Good evening, everyone. When the Formula One management team decided way back in 2016, they decided they wanted to have a brand new street circuit to implement around the streets of Azerbaijan, technically in Europe, sometimes technically not, depending on how you view it. And the wonderful circuit around Baku was created with its 6-kilometre circuit length, punctuated by 20 corners, situated by the castle, and is going to be on the calendar for at least another 5 more years. But tonight it plays host to round 6 of Invictus Racing League's Championship Season 22 here at this fabulous track, one that always creates discussion, one that always promotes action. I'm Jack TM53, commentating for Tier 2 as always. It's a delight and a privilege to be here as per usual. Tonight we don't have ARL alongside us in the commentary box, but I am delighted to say that Bjorn is with us. How are you, Bjorn?
Thanks. I'm great, thanks, Jack. Great start to the evening, but another week, another evening in the commentary box, and I can't wait what kind of drama will unfold today.
Yeah, it's going to be really good around here. There's a lot of action to come around this circuit. 26 laps around this track. We are waiting for 1 or 2 more drivers to get into the lobby for this evening. I know there was a lot of action in last night's race for the Tier 1 drivers. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, so just block your ears for a second. But Sydney, who has decided to say hello, getting overtaken on the main straight. It's the second time in the space of 2 seasons that we've had an overtake on the start finish on the final lap. Bjorn, you'd know all about that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would, and I think Jelle, if he's watching, he would hate to hear that, but I do remember it was a great Grand Prix at my own home circuit.
There we go then. So the drivers ticking themselves into this session. Of course, for those that are new to Invictus, it's 18 minutes of qualifying that the drivers have to navigate around this track. Like as I said before, 20 corners, 2 DRS zones. Let's not forget the first of them between turns 2 and 3, and then one after the final corner at turn 20, the little kink rise, all the way down towards turn 1. Always a challenging circuit to set up for, one that I think a lot of people, if they're unsure, Bjorn, if they don't really know much about this circuit, they would typically go for a low downforce setup just because of how mammoth those straights are.
Yeah, absolutely. The straight, I think it's by far, or no, I was going to say, I think it's by far the longest straight on the calendar, but of course Vegas in the 2023 got added, so now I'm not sure anymore if it's the longest straight, but it is a really long straight. You need all the speed you can get. It's of course into turn 1, and on the main straight is the main overtaking opportunity here, and as long as you can stay in front of your attacker into turn 1, then there's only one little chance of overtake into turn 3, but besides that it's all corners that you just need to get through, not really quick.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and you know, you were actually right about the straight being the longest in Formula 1. Baku does genuinely have the longest straight. I believe I'm right in saying it's 1.4 miles just in between, so that's a nice little statistic for Baku to have, considering that the circuit itself is, I think if I'm right in saying the whole circuit, 6 kilometres, about 3.7 miles, so a third of the entire lap is spent with your foot buried into the floor. Got a couple of drivers out on circuit just coming out of the pits, but O'Stephen has stolen the march on everybody. We are, of course, round 6 of the championship, into the real final knockings of the championship. I'll talk about the drivers' standings in a moment, but I do want to cover O'Stephen for just a moment before we go into qualifying, and I'll let Bjorn run us round a lap of this great circuit. But O'Stephen's having the best season I think I've seen him have in a very long time. He did really well in Japan. He had that podium in in Bahrain at the start of the season with that third place finish. Do you think, Bjorn, that he can get a podium this season or another top 5 result?
Well, I think he's definitely got the pace for it. You know, he's been pretty consistently, I think, qualifying at least in the top 8 this last few races. And in Baku, anything can happen. It's almost a guaranteed safety car as well.
Yeah.
A lot of different strategies. You know, maybe the lucky dice will fall on the right stone this time for him.
Yeah, maybe it will. Let's see how he gets on. We're actually coming down the main straight with him. So, Bjorn, do you want to take us on a lap?
Of course I do, Jack. Alright then, DRS open on the main straight across the start-finish line now into turn 1. Want to stay off the little curb. On the inside it will settle your car off and almost into the wall if you take it too wrong into turn 2 now. Another DRS detection here. Managed to keep it clean, no lockups in the hard braking zones. Want to use your battery as much as you can down the straight and recharge it for the few corners that's coming next. Into turn 4 now, you want to avoid the inside curb there. It will bounce your car and risk damaging your front wing. Now into this lovely chicane, one of my favorite chicanes on the Formula 1 calendar. A little slow on the exit there for Steven, but he managed to keep it nice and clean. Tough. What is it? Turn 7 into castle section now. Watch out for those walls, Steven. That's mighty close, but we're used to that in Formula 1. Now those track limits at the exit of turn 12 are really sketchy. Normally in Baku there's really walls right next to you, but there's suddenly not. You have to watch for the track limits. Now into turn 15 and 16. Curbs are very dangerous. He managed to stay off the curbs, and now on to the long straight once more, where we just went from a minute and 40 seconds ago. Flat out a few corners. We get a puncture here. That's going to be a naughty incident like Lance Stroll a few years back, I think. Yeah, 2021. DRS opens for the last time now on this lap. Top speed of 345 kilometers per hour, and that's Steven up for a 143.1.
Well, it's a solid enough opening gambit from the Mercedes, but the Ferrari of Matti Rudd, and then the Mercedes of Berra decides, no, that's not fast enough. His teammate currently on provisional pole. That is a strong effort to start off with. Clips Kiri just going up to 4th there. A couple of other cars coming across the start-finish line, going on to their laps. Nitrogash goes into 4th with a 141.4. I mean, that is a cracking effort from Berra. Really, really strong. But before we talk about the drivers, actually, I wanted to ask you a question, Bjorn, just about a comment that you made about the chicane at turn 5-6. Were you being sarcastic, or if you weren't, why is that your favourite, one of your favourite chicanes in F1? I'm just curious to know.
Well, I was not sarcastic.
Hey.
I don't know why, actually. I just really enjoyed the feel of it. You know, you can actually take the curbs for once on this track, and I know it's like the perfect speed. You can get a nice exit. You can take multiple lines as well, which you can experiment a little with, and especially on the modern F1 game, you can't really experiment a lot in the corners. But yeah, that chicane is one of the last places you can do that.
Well, I like that. I like the fact that I'm quite a fan of this circuit in general, to be honest with you. I feel like it's one of those tracks that does have a little bit of a character to it. I know that sometimes city circuits can be judged to be a little bit soulless sometimes. We have had tracks previously that haven't promoted a lot of action, but there is typically quite a lot at Baku within the esports side of things anyway. Maybe less so in the real world this year, that is. But the driver standings at the moment, I'm just going to cycle through those just to give you an idea where everybody is. So Pars, who's currently second on the grid with a 140.8, he leads the championship on 61 points after his comeback drive last week in Japan. Kent is second, so up to second place on the grid as well goes the Williams driver. He's on 50 points, so he's 11 points back. Ruddo is third on 46. He's tied on points with NSX Berra, who currently has provisional pole at the moment. In fact, I can see Ruddo he's burning the battery, so I'm just going to get not the telemetry open, but the data open. There you go. He is on an outlap, so there's no time for him just yet. So he's got to respond. And then the other driver in the top 5 is Hulkenberger in 5th place on 40 points. He's 21 points back, but sadly not racing tonight. So the odds are against Hulkenberger retaining his championship crown. I think the Alpine man is probably not going to end up taking that championship back unless things go his way in the next remaining 2 rounds. In the constructors, it is Berra leading the championship for Mercedes with O'Stephen. Those two having a really good campaign, as I've already mentioned. The 2 Ferraris of the Rudds, they are second, so Mercedes have 77 points, Ferrari have 62, as 2 Williams of both Kent and Clips Kiri. And then tied for 4th, we've got Alpine and Aston Martin on 40 points consecutively. Red Bull are just a touch behind actually on 39, so we might as well mention those. Sauber still have those 2 points that was scored by Lionel Griesby back at round 4. So that's been quite some time for them, and Mikey on his own this evening, so he's got it all to do as he crosses the line. He has a 44.2 to close his gap to JPH in front of him.
Yeah, so there's still a lot to play for. Of course, there's only 8 rounds, as you previously mentioned, in this season's calendar, so it's almost guaranteed that we are going to get at least one championship decider in Singapore, the last round of the season.
Yeah, I mean, what a track to have a championship finale at, to be honest with you. Singapore is another one of my particular favourite circuits, so it'd be good to see the drivers battling it out. Another track as well, similar to Baku, where you're almost guaranteed a safety car as Ruddo moves himself into 2nd place. So the championship protagonist, one of them that is, puts himself in front of the championship leader. So both Ruddo and Kent in front by some margin on pars. But I have to say, Berra's lap time is standing up incredibly strongly. I think Sir Spud's gone off the road, and there we go, he's out of the way now. So yeah, Berra's lap time, Bjorn, that's a stonking first effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Even Sydney saying in chat that Banker of Berra is only 2 tenths slower than Merck's Banker yesterday in Tier 1. So that is
wow,
big pace from Berra there. I wonder if he even feels the need to set another lap after that one.
I think I've maybe you disagree with me on this, Bjorn, but I feel like Azerbaijan is one of those circuits where it does come down a bit more to driver confidence. I don't think it's so much like Silverstone or Spa or anything. I feel like with Baku you've got to be very, very precise, and it just lends itself quite well to some of these drivers, because Berra could be one of these drivers that I'm talking about, in that he's 4th in the drivers' standings. He's had flashes of pace, but this track just seems to be highlighting out maybe some of his strengths.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. It's quite a good point that what you said, that this is a track about confidence, because you're so dangerously close to the walls that you can quite easily tap the wall, and even if it won't do any damage to your car, it will damage your confidence. So I think you have to be mentally very strong to succeed at Baku. Also a thing completely different. I wonder if either Berra or Ruddo has received a tow from their respective teammates, because a tow will gain you 4 tenths on the main straight. So maybe they'll do that for their final runs though.
I was going to say, because you've got access to telemetry, I'm right in saying, is there any indication that has happened on the laps?
Well, yeah, I mean, I see that Ruddo has set the fastest sector 3 by 2 tenths against Berra, but that's too small of a difference to be slipstream on the main straight.
Well, there we go. We'll keep an eye out on that. One driver I wanted to point out, Maras in 5th place on 3-lap-old medium tyres. She has hit the wall. She's coming back into the pits, I think, for a new front wing. But on the mediums, a 41.0. That's an impressive lap time. She could be on the front row if she can find what we'd imagine to be about a second worth of lap time around this circuit. So keep an eye out on the Haas. We have talked a lot about the Haas drivers, both her and It's the Cat, being very strong in qualifying, but the race not really planning out the way that it should do. So let's hope, fingers crossed, that today is the day where Maras can convert a strong qualifying into a good race result. I'm on board with Ginger Tiger. He's 6/10 up on his best efforts so far. I'm just watching him through the kink right at turn 20. He's got the battery deployed now all the way to the start finish line. He is 6/10 up, so he should be on the second row of the grid if he can continue this towards the start finish line. Let's see where the Aston Martin goes. He's just about to cross the beam now. It's a 40.4. So that gap that Barra set, maybe he's just so dialed in and everyone else is, well, he got a very lovely toe from Pars. Did you see that?
No, I did not. I'll take a look at the stream for that.
He got a very, very lovely... I just caught the end of it, but he got a nice toe to find another 2/10. So maybe down at Ferrari, Matty Rudd and Ruddo are going to have a chat about whether tactics are going to come into play here.
Yeah, and I wonder if... Well, I'm just going to assume Pars did not do that on purpose, but that is very poorly timed from Pars. Because, well, Barra and Pars, those are championship contenders. You're giving your rival a toe in qualifying. So that's very interesting. And Pars is not on the lap now because I was just looking at his battery levels and those were too low to start another lap. So I'm really wondering what's actually gone on there.
I wonder if they were close together on track and Pars had set a lap and Barra wasn't too far away. I mean, bit of an odd one. I'm just watching Pars. He's going round the circuit, so he's not on a lap, but I think he's about to go on to one. So maybe he invalidated somewhere, or he had a bit of a slide somewhere. A couple of comments coming in. So Spud saying, I find this track like Monaco. Not great. So good evening to you, Spud. Also, Iran is saying, where's Hulkenberger? He's devastated by his absence from the grid, which I think we all are, because Hulkenberger always does provide some really good on-track action. He's also hoping Spud can get his first points of the season. Everyone also asking, has J-Ray Bay signed up as a reserve this season? He had done, as far as I'm aware, but we haven't seen him appear in any of the rounds. So sadly, we haven't seen J-Ray Bay a championship contender. He would have been for this season, but sadly, he's not had the chance to even race with us, which is a shame because Tier 2 is always so competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, just coming back on the slipstream situation, I don't know if it was you that was commentating that race, but I'm 100% sure it was Invictus Racing League. I think it was in F122, so you might have to think back a lot. It was Merckx and Amir. I don't know if you remember him.
Name
in
is
Austria.
Familiar.
He was really quick. He was up there. It was Austria, and they were both in quali. And Merckx just followed Amir because he knew Amir is quicker than me. And the track is built like this, so if you just follow him, I'll get a big toe that will provide more time than losing time that you would lose by dirty air. And he managed to set a pole position that was quicker than Amir's by doing that strategy. So I wonder if that has gone on there, because that would be fantastic.
Be some really good gamesmanship going on there if he's thought about that. Actually, I do remember Amir now. He was near the front, and for a track like Austria, similar to this, you know, it is a kind of point and squirt circuit. It's not got long flowing corners really that are going to cause any issues in the wake of the car following behind. They're all quite slow, third gear, second gear, right angle corners in the opening sector. So maybe that has gone on, which would be a really good observation if that is the case. I'm just watching Madman on a lap. He's actually come out behind, I'm going to say that's Sir Spud, but I think Sir Spud is also on a lap. So unfortunately for Madman, he might have to back out of this. And this is going to be an issue now. We're less than 2 minutes to go pretty much. Traffic's going to be a factor. If someone gets it wrong, it's going to really cost them.
Yeah, it takes around 2 minutes 50 to get around a lap and also warm your tires in Baku. So it's going to be a question if everyone's even gonna make the flag on time. 'Cause I'm not. There's still a lot of people on the outlap. If you look on the track map,
Yeah.
there are people still in sector 1.
It's one of the Mercedes in sector 1. I'm just trying to see. Is it Stephen who's coming through what would be turn number 4? So that is a long way to go. He might have to get a bit of a shuffle on, which might ruin his tyres. Now, Maras is the first one who's going to be setting the final flying lap efforts without any traffic around. And Maris has just come through sector 1 and she's got a set of Pirelli Red Bull soft tyres on the car. See what her first sector time is at the moment. It's going to be the next time and beams about 2 corners away. If my logic is correct. So yeah, it should be on the X. Ooh, little slide there through the corner. She got away with that. And she's 7/10ths up. This is going to be a strong effort if she's up that quick already.
I think she set the fastest sector 1 out of anybody so far.
Yeah.
This is going to be a massive lap. Will we see the Haas on the front row for the first time this season?
I mean, that was a incredible commitment through the Castle section. She's now in the second part of the lap. She's going to be coming towards the next timing beam. It's just towards turn 16, so she's got to get a braking zone right into 15. She uses all the track and a little bit more right up to the edge of the curb she goes. So Stephen is done. He didn't make it in the end. She's half a second up, so she's lost 2/10ths. Still going to be a big improvement, but will it be as dramatic as what we thought it was going to be? Round turn 20 in the Haas we go for this final time in qualifying. Battery completely deployed. She's using all of it possible. She's got enough left to get to the end without any trouble. And what lap time will this be for the Haas driver? It's a 40.4. Puts her on 6th place for the time being. Clips Kiri. That's a strong effort. Up to 4th place. Nice to see him higher up in the field. Who's next coming along? Is that Keza? It is Keza. He's in the Alpine. In as a reserve for this evening. Can he find any more time? He can find a little bit more time, but he has invalidated that lap. What are you seeing, Bjorn?
Matty Rudd and DJ Madman, they were driving right in front of each other, and Matty Rudd then made a mistake, aborted his lap, went out of the way for DJ Madman, but DJ Madman had enough as Barrett improves his time once again. He thought he was blocked and he aborted his lap as well, so that's a shame for both drivers having to abort their final runs.
Massive shame. Berra improved by 300ths of a second. Pars is going to be the next one to try and respond, and he goes to 3rd. Can't quite get close enough. Matty's into 9th position, his teammate. Ruddo takes provisional pole with a 39.2. That is a strike back for the championship. That's exactly what he was after. Kent isn't improving, and I think Nitric Ash is done. So that is qualifying, and Ruddo 24 has taken pole position. And after Berra being in the front for the whole session, Ruddo pops up with one last gasp effort and snatches it away.
What a beautiful effort from Ruddo. I did not see that coming at all. I kind of jumped from my chair when I saw that. I did not expect it at all. And we have got Ruddo on pole again.
The qualifying king is Ruddo. He's always been especially quick. And for that lap time to come in, to be 2/10ths clear of Berra, who was looking like the pace setter, that's really impressive. We know Pars has been very quick as well in qualifying and in the races this season, but not on the front row of the grid, which is a bit of a surprise, really, for us from the pit gantry, from the commentary gantry. Kent on the second row of the grid as well. So the top 4 in the championship, in the top 4 spaces, and that's kind of the way it needs to be.
Definitely, if you want to outscore your opponents. Well, it's going to be a really epic fight, I hope, starting in a few minutes time. But I'm just looking at the sector times. Ruddo got pole only in sector 1. He has got around 3.5 tenths in sector 1, and then he lost time in the other 2 sectors. So wow, that's very interesting, because of course Berra had that quick sector 3. No, sorry, that was Pars, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm not really sure how that happened, because that is quite a big difference. especially in sector 2, he's almost lost his pole position, and then in sector 3 they were just enough to equal it out. So I wonder if there were mistakes on that laps, if they in theory could even go quicker.
Yeah, potentially. We'll have to have a little look at that in just a moment's time. Just to go through the qualifying order, it's Ruddo on pole with NSX Barra in second place. Pars is third alongside Kent in fourth. Row 3, we've got Ginger Tiger and Clips Kiri. Then we've got Nitrogash and YB Maras inside the top 8. Matty and Matty, the two Matties, again together in qualifying, separated by 0.03 of a second. They round out the top 10. Stephen and Bruce are inside the point scoring positions. Of course, the top 12 score points. Then it's Keza and Madman on row number 7 with Sir Spud and JPH on row 8. Mikey is last on his own on row number 9. I'm sure Mikey won't mind being at the back because he'll just keep out of trouble. That'll be kind of what his motive is. In terms of the drivers going out there, they're going to be adapting to the race conditions. I'm not going to ask you about what your strategy would be just yet, Bjorn, just in case anyone's listening. But how would you plan for a safety car? Would that come into your preparation for when you're setting up your stints? Would you think about a safety car? Would you factor that in, or would you just go for whatever strategy you might decide? I'm not going to say what the strategy is, but I'm just wondering if that's something that you would factor in because of the way Baku is as a circuit.
Well, I'm looking down at my paper, and I also use this paper to prepare for my races on Monday evening. And yeah, I have 4 strategies here, and every 4 of them have safety car windows. So I do actually, especially on a track like Baku where I expect to have a safety car. It's quite important to actually make those beforehand. Not necessarily because you can't make them up during the race, but if there's a safety car and you're right before the pit entry, you are gonna have those moments of doubt whether you don't know if you are gonna pit or not. Which also the reason why I've done this is because a few seasons ago, wasn't in this league, but I've lost the championship because I haven't prepared my safety car windows, so it's really important to have those, I feel.
Well, there you go. Anyone who's wondering if joining Invictus Racing League for season 23 and you're very quick, you need to make sure you've got your pit strategies fully prepared and laid out, because that's the success you need to be a tier 1 champion, as Bjorn was last season. Which is great commitment, to see, to be honest with you, of course, of these 50% races that we have in IRL. And we haven't discussed much yet about season 23, and there's nothing that I can reveal to anybody just yet. I can't even tease anything just yet. I'm sure Mikey wouldn't want me to anyway. Mikey's actually just said, well, this isn't going to go well. He has qualified 17th. You never know, Mikey, if you just keep it on the road. And I'm sure Bjorn would agree, and Sydney also said the same thing. If you keep it out of the wall, you've got a very good chance of points tonight.
Yeah, well, to be honest here, Jack, keeping out of the wall might be the hardest part of finishing the race.
No, it's true. It's very different to the next round that we are heading off to, of course, which is the penultimate round of the season. Let us not forget. I can't believe how quickly the championship has gone, but it's been a really, really tight season. It's been good fun to have. But next week we're off to Monza. 2 races on the evening as well. We've got the sprint race and the feature race next week, and that's going to be critical for the championship. So whilst tonight has a big implication for what could happen in the remaining 2 rounds, I should say, next week will pretty much put the concrete block on what could and couldn't happen. So I'm excited for that. And as we go into the lights for the formation lap, I can now ask you, Bjorn, what are the strategies that you've been thinking about?
Well, the one stop is possible around here, but I'm not sure whether it's actually quicker for the first time. I will say this on the F125 game. It is possible, but you just have to save your tires so much that you're gonna lose so much time, especially because you're probably already running very low wings, which is gonna try and go even more tire wear if you're not careful. Sydney was doing the 02 stop yesterday, and he was gaining on me, Jeremy Clarkson, and at the end he merged by major amounts, a few seconds a lap. I think it was 2.5 right before Jeremy pitted for the final time. So I'm not sure if it was worth it. At the end, Sydney did not win the race, unfortunately, by a spectacular finish. But yeah, but I am looking at the tires, and it seems like the top 7 have all gone for medium tires. So they might have listened to the previous tier 2 streams. And every time I've said, if you start at the front, start on mediums. If you start a little bit back, go long and put on the hard tires. But now I'm not sure if the 1 stop or 2 stop is quicker. So actually, Jack, I don't have a clue.
Well, I love that as an answer. That's fantastic. That's what we want. The tier 1 reigning champion doesn't have a Scooby-Doo, but that's fine. It keeps everything open. It keeps the options wide. It keeps people on their toes as they go around the formation lap. Just to confirm, Bjorn said there we've got 14 drivers on the mediums. Maras, Matty Rudd and O'Stephen being the outliers on the White Wool Pirelli hard tyres. What do you make of Maras starting on the hards in 8th place? Do you think that's a good decision, Bjorn? Because I'm looking at it and thinking, she's got the pace today. She looks like she's just a little bit in front of the general midfield. Do you think she can hang on and maybe just retain that a top 8 and have a chance later on if there's no safety car?
Well, I think she's got the pace for more than only 8th place. I think it's a smart decision, because the major thing with going on the hards, if the rest are mediums, is the fact that you are one of the only cars on hards, which means you don't really have to. Well, let me rephrase this correctly. If you are gonna do the same as your opponent, you're not gonna get in front of them by just driving. You need to have a strategy difference, and especially on a track like Baku, where it's so hard to overtake and everyone's running low downforce. But the lights are going out soon, so I'll hand it over to you.
Well, here we are then. Ruddo pointing his car to the right-hand side. Here we go for the race here at Baku. And the race is live. Ruddo cuts straight across on Berra to make sure he leads into turn 1. Berra is there solid. The 2 Williams have crashed into one another, and I think Clips Kirry has got a broken front wing. He misjudged that into the braking zone. Maras has had a flying start, but has had to back out of it while she was going 3 wide into turn 2. All sorts of scrambling going on at the moment, but Maras has got herself into 7th place. The 2 Aston Martins are 8th and 9th. I'm watching O'Stephen, who's trying to make some moves on Ginger Tiger, who's going defensive into turn 3. That's the McLaren of Bruce. I think he's going off the road, and I think he's hit the wall as he goes through, and I think there's more carnage that we've just missed. There's an Alpine of Keza with no front wing, nor has DXT Matty, so they've all tripped over one another, unfortunately, into turn 3. Ginger and Madman wheel to wheel in 5 and 6, and that's only going to end up in a slight brushing together. I thought it was going to be a bigger accident, but did you see what happened there, Bjorn?
Well, not what happened there, but what I did see what happened is DXT Matty has got damage, and the person who he collided with was his own brother. Before turn 1, Matty has damage, and that looks pretty serious. I feel like he's going to have to pit this lap. But before turn 1, they misjudged the space between them, and that was Matty almost 90 degrees into a wall.
Well, that is not the best of starts for a number of these drivers. Keza is holding up, well, I say holding up the train. He's got a broken front wing, but Matty has not got an end plate at all on the side of his wagon. I'm just looking at Ginger Tiger. He was impacted in that. It looks clean from my side, but you never know. In-game damage is very, very different to what we perceive. DRS is now enabled on this lap, and Berra is very close to the back of Ruddo. Let's ride on board with the Mercedes. The top 4 have scampered away. Clips with his damage is just going to try and hang on, I feel, for the time being. But Ruddo leads the way, then it's Berra, then it's Pars, then it's Kent. Clips doesn't have DRS, so Matty Rudd and Maras and Nitrogash, they're all going to have a chance to attack the Williams over the course of the next few laps. Then there's the big gap back to Ginger Tiger, who's going very defensive against Madman into turn 3. You could argue there's a bit of a chop there. Madman's going to try it again on down the inside, and he's got that move completed. Taps the wall a little bit on the way through. Ginger almost hitting the wall too. Oh, Stephen now trying to look at the outside at turn number 5 and 6, but he can't find a way through. JPH, though, he's moved up from 16th thanks to all the chaos. And a couple of drivers in the pits, Keza, Matty and Sir Spud. Sadly, those three, the two Alpines, having a bit of a mare.
Yeah, Clipscurry with that damage is closing on his teammate Kent. I wonder though, Kent is a championship contender, if there's going to be any team orders done at Williams, and any team orders will be going on, for example, Aston Martin. I believe they're also fighting for a place in the constructors.
Yeah, that is a good point. But I tell you something that's a good point. Ruddo has broken the DRS on Berra. I mean, that is a really strong job from the Scuderia driver. He'll be happy with that. So it's a question now of whether Ruddo can maintain this. He doesn't want to allow Berra to get back into DRS on the exit of turn 1. He's got to make sure that's nice and neat, because Pars, braked a little bit too late. Just about got away with that in the Red Bull. That could have been a lock-up and a broken front wing. But Berra has not managed to get back in DRS. Has Pars? No, that mistake has cost him. And now Clips, like you said, Bjorn, on the back of Kent. And I wonder if it's just Kent dialing himself into the race a little bit. I wonder if that's what's going on right now. But he's lost a little bit of time to the front three.
Yeah, it could also be that Kent and Berra are tire saving already. That they might try and do the one stop. It's gonna be hard, but could pay off, especially if there's a well-timed safety car. Then, you're gonna have a great race.
And I'll tell you something, the other two drivers to keep an eye on are both Matty Rudd and Maras. You know, those two running the hards. They are right in the mix here for a really strong result. So we'll keep an eye on it. Nitro very sideways. I don't know how he got away with that through the castle section, but managed to live another day. Then Maras deciding to slide and protest as well. Madman running in 9th, and then Ginger in 10th place. So we've got a quartet, almost a quintet. Bruce has almost made it onto the back of that group. So there's a couple of groups now that are settling into a rhythm, but Pars might be shaping up for an overtake here.
It's gonna be 5/10 on the main straight. That should be enough, especially because Barrett does not have DRS. It's gonna get a massive tow. DRS open. Should be a pretty easy overtake into turn 1. See how Barrett responds.
There we go. Nice easy move for the Red Bull to slide into 2nd place. And the championship leader looking to try and minimise his losses here in these opening laps. Berra almost running into the back of the Red Bull in front of him, and has a little squirt off the corner, and he gets that all wrong. And the Williams of Clips Kerry firing out of the corner as well. So we saw Clips last week deciding to be a Tokyo D1 drifter. He's doing it here in Azerbaijan. He's got Matty looking at the back of him. Whoa, what happened to Maras then? That is absolutely bizarre as Matty Rudd overtakes Clips Kerry. But Maras, I don't know if she locked the rear tyres, but she's broke her front wing. That was very odd.
It just looked like she tried to do a dummy, but it kind of backfired on her.
It's a bizarre one.
Yeah, hope it's not going to be any damage. Can't really see it right now, but let's hope it won't end up like another disaster for Haas.
Nitrogash in the wall. He's got. I don't know if he's got damage from that, but he slid sideways and hit the wall, bang side on, at the castle section. I've never seen anyone do that before, but I'm just looking to see if he's got a puncture or if he's got side pod damage, perhaps. I mean, that was a very odd one. Again, there's two things that have happened today that I've not seen before. As Matty Rudd gets overtaken by Clips Kerry, they're not going to go side by side through the penultimate corner. Maras and Matty Rudd just about live to tell the tale, but Matty having a big slide on the exit of 18, and that's what contributed him to losing that place to Clips.
Yeah, that's wonder if Matty Rudd is close enough to make the overtake into turn 1. No, he's not. Other news, Ginger Tiger has made his first scheduled pit stop onto the hard tires from the mediums on lap 3. It was some laps ago. I was just checking if he was going to replace his wing, but his wing looks fine. It was just a new set of hards waiting on him. So I wonder what kind of strategy this will be for the Aston Martin.
Do you think he's, as Matty Rudd moves into 5th place again past Clips Curry, I know Stephen gets past Madman, and I think JPH is not quite close enough to the Racing Bull. But do you think, because Nitro has also pitted, do you think this is an early decision from these two to just try and keep a 2-stop window open and respond to the safety car when necessary?
Yeah, definitely could be. I'm also thinking maybe they know they're going to do a 2-stop, but maybe they think it will still be close. So if I pit now, I'm just going to drive in free air and not get held up by any cars ahead of me.
Yeah, I mean, they would in theory. You would say, oh, Keza hitting the wall on the exit. You can see the drivers are starting to struggle now. We're 5 laps into the race, but Keza clearly struggling with low grip in the Alpine. He just had a little knock of the wall. I think he's got away with it, but I think it was more tyre on wall contact that he had. But Ginger, the 2 Aston Martins clearly coordinate stuff. I also see Bruce pitted as well early on. So Bruce got off those medium tyres onto the hards instead. Aaron has asked a question, so I'll answer this. I know that Bjorn's just in the middle of sorting something out in the background. What does it take to have the longevity of Sir Spud's league racing career? That man is a testament to endurance. First of all, I think it's down to his heavily potato-based diet, which always helps for the Alpine driver. I think also as JPH moves into 9th place in front of Madman, I think what also helps is that Sir Spud's part of a nice community. He enjoys racing here. It's a good time for him. Madman and Jordan actually went off the road. So after making that overtake, got it all wrong, and unfortunately, I don't know if he's damaged his front wing there. We'll have to check back and see. Yes, he did. He clipped the wall. So JPH is going to have to carry that damage around with him. But I think for Aaron, in terms of your comment about Sir Spud, I just think he has a good time. I think that for Spud, he has a lot of fun, and it's nice to see him being such a committed member of Invictus Racing League. So he might not be having I would call it the epoch of his seasons that he's had in IRL, but at the same time, you will always have a season like that where you tend to struggle. So this might be the one where he has a bit of a difficulty, and then next campaign he strikes back. So looking forward to see how Spud gets on. As long as he keeps it on the road, he's still got a good chance today of scoring some points. He's still out there on circuit. Closest fight, though, between Clips and Maras at the minute. Just half a second between them. It feels like the hard tyres, though, are in the ascendancy because Matty Rudd looks like he's doing okay at the moment, and those medium runners at the front, they're not really pulling away from him.
No, I feel like they have reached the crossover point for the tire difference already. And just to come to Iron's question, I feel like, I don't know if everyone have seen this clip going around on social media, but in Formula E, Dan Ticktum, he's just happy to be there. He's on his phone in the cockpit. He doesn't really need to win. He just wants to drive the car and have a great time. I feel like Sir Spud will relate to that.
I would definitely say, though, that Sir Spud does not have the same anger issues that Dan Ticktum has compared to other drivers. Is how I would describe that. But we are on lap 7. The race is stalling out at the moment in terms of action, but we are in the pit stop phase. It's an interesting point we're at right now. You know, we're looking at the drivers trying to conduct their strategies. The guys on the medium tyres will be trying to take those as long as possible. The drivers who have pitted early on, they're going to be using as much of the tyre as they possibly can over the coming laps to try and bring that overall time gap down. I'm looking at Nitrogash is 30 seconds behind at the moment, having made his first pit stop. Ruddo still in the lead of the race. Mikey went off the road there. He hasn't got damage, so he's carried on. He's just had a moment in between turns 1 and 2. In fact, Nitro is closing the gap to Ruddo. What was the average pit time for Tier 1 yesterday? Was it typically 27 seconds around here? Or 24?
27? I calculated it to be 19.5.
Well, in F1 in the real world, it's actually a lot slower compared to the game, as Ruddo, our race leader, is in the pits, and Berra is too, as is Kent, so Pars is the only one to carry on, Bjorn.
Yeah, now I wonder, this is a commitment to do the 2-stop for both Ruddo and Berra. I wonder if Pars is going to drag those tires a little bit longer to try and do the 1-stop. Be impressive to see if that will he'll make it work for him. Because in Tier 1 yesterday it proved that the 2-stop was quicker, I believe. I'm just trying to look on his onboard if he is actively tire saving and nursing those mediums till the pit window, but I'll keep an eye on that.
Well, whilst you keep an eye on that, Ruddo has come out a second and a bit behind Clips Kiri. He, in theory, should be catching him and passing him on the main straight, because he's got that tyre offset at the moment compared to the Williams in front of him, and also Clips does have all over the road. He has no traction whatsoever. You can see that Ruddo is just closing in corner by corner. You wonder whether Ruddo will just decide to overtake him, because Clips is scrambling everywhere at the minute. One of only 4 drivers to make a pit stop in this race. Just go down through the gears into the last couple of corners. That's a big clamp of curb that Ruddo took there into the left hand and gets away with it. And I think he's well, he might even get past him before the DRS zone. Yeah, there we go. Ruddo deciding he's had enough of waiting behind Clips. He doesn't even want to wait for DRS and wants to just get on with it. Ooh.
Pars enters the pit. I was just going to come to him. It was just calculated with my telemetry here that he could potentially go to lap 17 in theory and still avoid a puncture, but no. My studying has gone out the window, and that is a commitment to a 2-stop as well.
Pars just coming out of turn 1. There's Berra. That's going to be quite close, because Pars won't have his tyres up to temperature, and the Mercedes, he's got an opportunity here, but I don't think that exit was quite what he needed. And I feel that Berra I think he's gonna have a look into turn 2, but whoa, he's got it wrong and he's running to the back of the Red Bull. I don't know if there was damage, but he just seemingly just closed the gap and just ran into the back of it. I'm surprised he hasn't got front wing damage. That's a shock. He's all over the rear of the Red Bull, but it's going to be really difficult to try and make a move at turn 5 and 6, and sure enough, Berra covers what he can do, but Pars is matching into it.
Yeah, this is got to be really frustrating for Berra, because he is so much quicker around the tight section of the track. Meanwhile, Pars in his cockpit, he's just turned off his battery. He's just on a recharge for the straight. So yeah, that was quite a hard hit, and I'm really surprised. I believe that was a second hit as well, but just a little bit lighter, but no damage as far as we could see so far. So let's see if he can pass here on the straight. Ooh, that was a big close hit off the curb.
I'm just waiting for someone to hit that curb so hard that it bounces them into the wall. It has happened before. A little bit further front, Ruddo right in the slipstream of Maras, goes to the right hand side. She's not going to defend this one too hard, and sure enough, it's a Ferrari 1-2 for the time being. Matty Rudd leads his brother. Berra now has got DRS open. He's close to the Red Bull. He's closing, he's going to be close enough to have a look. He's going to go to the outside at turn 1, breaks a little bit later than the Red Bull. He's going to squeeze through on the outside, hits the wall on the way through. But what a way to consolidate the position. Berra overtakes Pars for 4th place on the road. Now, will Pars try and strike back? I don't think Pars is close enough, and Berra gets past his rival.
Yeah, that was good driven by the Mercedes. I'm just looking at Maris and Matty Rudd. Yeah, so what I can see here is that they'll have to come in, and I wonder if that is possible for a 1-stop. What do you think, Jordan? 12 laps on the medium tires. That is very long, isn't it?
That is possible. Yeah, that's really long. Do you know what else is going to be really long? This lap for Clips Kiri. He's just made a move on Ginger Tiger, and then going into turn 3, clamped the wall and broke the other end plate off. So now he's driving around with sans two end plates at the moment. So that Williams is going to be handling awfully through the middle sector. And the final sector, it'll be a struggle to get that Williams through there. He's been struggling a little bit, has Clips, but will he decide to just carry on and crack on as Matty Rudd lets his teammate go? And I think Ruddo's going to give him a bit of a DRS helping hand on this straight, just to keep the gap to Maras, who has now got the attention of Bearer behind her, and Pars for that matter.
Well, Matty Rudd is in the pit lane.
There we go.
From the hard tires, that is 10 laps on the hard. So, and Maris is as well. So let's see what tire will go on for both of them. For Matty Rudd, it's the mediums, and for Maris, it will be the mediums as well. Because yeah, I want to point in qualifying, Maris did a banker lap on the mediums, 3 laps long. But you can only do that if you have chosen the. Maris also does a front wing change. That's quite interesting to see. If you go to mediums banker lap in qualifying STX team, oh that's in the pit lane, never mind. You basically tell the others on track, okay, I've gone for the balanced compound set, because if you go harder you'll receive a hard in qualifying as well. So that's going to be a hard medium medium, which I personally disagree with, especially around Baku. I've practiced a little bit, and in the race I felt as well. The hard is just a better tire than the mediums, because the mediums just fall off after 6 laps, and then you just have to nurse them until your next pit window.
Yeah, that's going to be the challenge for them. I've just watched Maras overtake IRC Bruce, which is an important move. Mikey's gone out, and that's on track. And is that a safety car? It is. There's your safety car that we'd called, and I bet Matty Rudd and Maras are thinking if we'd have just left it another lap, they'd have been bang on odds to have leapt up the field. But sadly, they're going to have to just adapt. They're still in a good position though, because this forces the guys who are on the hard tyres now to make a decision. Do they go in and try and put a new set of hard tyres on, or do they carry on? I feel like for some of them, they're probably going to have to pit again. Ruddo's in. What about Berra? Yeah, goes in. Pars goes in. Kent, I'd assume, would go in. Haha, he's proven me wrong. He's carried on. Is he going to get? Is he going to get into the lead of the race? I'm just watching where Ruddo is. Yes, he is. So Kent gets in front. Nitro's in the pits. Matty Rudd is going to carry on. Where will that put him? It'll put him behind his teammates. He's pushing to try and get in front of Berra, but he's not going to make it. So he can't help his teammate out straight away. He can't hold anybody up. Who else is that carrying on? Maras has carried on. She's just pitted, of course. And everyone else has got the opportunity now to change front wings, get themselves sorted, get onto a new strategy. Kez has gone for the softs.
Wait, what did you just say to me, Jack?
Yeah, I did genuinely just say that. Keza is on the soft tyre. So, is he thinking about doing 5-6 laps on the softs? Can they make that long? Can they go that far and then go to the medium tyre to the end?
Yeah, I think that is what the strategy is for Keza now. That is
brave.
Really interesting decision. It's quite exciting me actually, because if he pulls it off, it's gonna pay him off a lot. Sorry, I just bumped into my mic. But if it doesn't, then it's gonna lose him a lot of position. But in theory, he's not got much to lose, has he? So.
No, he hasn't. I mean, he's in the points at the moment. He's in 11th place, but he knows that Clips, Maras and Matty Rudd are going to have to pit again. So why not try and at least get past 3 cars and make that 11th place become an 8th place with those soft tyres? He'd pit a little bit earlier, so he'd get the undercut on the tyre as well. So that makes sense to me. What I am fascinated to know about now is Kent. He's got slightly older tyres than Ruddo, Berra and Pars, only by, I would say, 2.5 racing laps compared to the other drivers. This safety car probably lasts another lap or 2. He'll have to do 12 extra laps, so he'll have to do 14 laps on the hard tyres, which is doable.
Yeah, it is. This is going to be a really exciting second half of this race. I'm not sure what to say. Yeah, it's a real shame for Matti Rudd and Maris, isn't it? Another unlucky race for the Haas team. But there's still a lot to play for. It's not finished yet.
No. No, it really isn't. Couple of comments that have just come in. I'll come to Iran's Ask Commentators question in a moment. Mikey said he hates this game. It's unreal. Mikey, we saw your track icon go off. What happened? If you could explain, that would be great. Iran has asked, and I will also answer this question, but I'll let you go first, Bjorn, on this. Who are you tipping to win the Driver's Crown this season? Not just in, Tier 1, rather not just in Tier 2, but in Tier 1 as well.
Okay. Well, in Tier 2, I'm gonna have to say Pars. He's been dominating this season, even having two qualification bans. He still managed to end on the podium in both of those races. So he's leading the championship by some points as well. So I'm gonna have to give it to him. Now for Tier 1, just for the sake, because Sydney's watching as well, I'm gonna win the championship again.
That's a good question. For me, I think Pars is in the best position right now compared to everybody else. He does have that advantage. He does have 11 points. Kent is always capable of winning a championship. I think over the past seasons that I've raced alongside him in, he's come close, but just hasn't been able to consolidate it for one reason or another. So I wouldn't rule him out. I certainly wouldn't rule Ruddo out of this championship fight either. Safety car's in this lap though, so I'll have to come back to that question in just a moment regarding Tier 1. Sydney's also agreeing with you, Bjorn, saying that you're going to win it, so no pressure on you there. Spud will just about make the back of the pack, which is great news. So Kent, he's going to be the one to lead us off and up the road down this huge 1.35 mile straight here in downtown Baku, and Kent weaving left and right, just basically trying to go as far as he can before he drops the hammer down and goes again. Don't forget, DRS won't be available until lap 15, so Kent will cross the line, start 14, and then it'll be available on 15. Look, he's still going. Ruddo's trying to predict it, but he's just not getting the car lined up yet, and Kent is going to drag this as far as he can. Look how far he goes, and now he pins it, and that's a good launch. That's a really good restart for Kent. He's going to lead the way into turn 1. No pressure from behind. Pars is under pressure though from Matti Rudd, and Matti Rudd gets past him. A bit of a clip of the wall. Maras is also going to go through on Pars. There's a yellow flag behind us. That's one of the Alpines. I think it's Keza who's gone backwards, but the two medium shod runners of Maras and Matti Rudd have leapt in front of Pars, and that's a nightmare start for the championship leader. Pars is going to try and strike back into turn number 3. There's no room there, and there's contact, and Maras has gone sideways, somehow keeps it just about pointing out of the wall, but I don't think she'll be pleased with that. Nitro's trying to go around the outside as well. Nitro's there, and he's going to have the inside line for turns 5 and 6. Oh, Stevens there as well, so Maras, it's all going from bad to worse, and she drops down to 8th place, and that is a shame, because I don't think that Pars was close enough, but we'll leave that one to the stewards. Over to you, Bjorn.
Pars and Matti Rudd have both picked up front wing damage, even though it's invisible. It is registered here on my telemetry screen. Pars with the contact with Maris, of course, on the front right there. Matti Rudd, I have no idea, because it wasn't there before, but I did not see him make any contact with anybody. And also further back there was a front wing end plate from someone, but I have no idea who, flying away in the chicane of turn 5 and 6.
It would be Keza. I'm just watching his car at the moment. He's got no front wing elements really going on. He's got about 2 left, really, is probably the safest way of describing his front wing situation. So sadly for Keza, that gamble on the soft tyre has already come to naught. He's going to have to get back into the pits. What it does mean, it's bunched the group all right back together. Ginger Tiger very close to Klipschkiri, but DRS not available just yet. Maras down the inside of O'Steven before we get to the braking zone at turn 1. She doesn't want to run too deep, and she gets away with that. So Maras striking back as best as she can. Kent leads the way, and Keza has retired in the pits. That's game over for Keza. Kent, though, is under threat from Ruddo. Down the inside for the Ferrari, DRS wide open, and he is going to move into the lead of the race. Kent then drops to second, Berra third, and Matty Rudd is going to be, quite literally, as Aaron was pointing out, Joker in the pack. So we'll have to wait and find out. And Merck, to answer your question, I will give you it in a moment. There's a lot for me to cover.
Yeah, there is a lot to cover, isn't there? Ooh, can we just pick up track limit? Yeah, I was just gonna come to that. Nobody has picked up a time penalty yet. Unlike yesterday in Tier 1, where there's some time penalties quite early on. Most of the Tier 2 drivers have kept it in between the white lines, so that's props to them.
I never thought we'd hear the day we'd say that, where the Tier 2 drivers have got less time penalties than Tier 1 guys, but it's just showing you how competitive this season has been. And I'm just on board with Pars and Nitrogash, who is at the tail end of this train, but Ruddo's done it again. He's got out of DRS, so Ruddo just seems to be in the form of his life today. He's putting the measure on everybody else. So Berra is going to try and be the first to try and strike back at Kent, who is on those older hard tyres. Let's not forget the Williams man is going to be under threat from Berra, who goes to the outside line. He's going to have the overspeed, and he goes through into second position. I think Ginger Tiger in the background overtaking Clips Kiri. There it is. Ginger consolidates 9th place for the number 9 driver. He's in the wall and he's out. And is that a safety car? It is again.
Ooh.
Ginger Tiger got through and then just lit it up on the curb, and see you later. The Aston Martin bangs into the barrier, and this race has been reshaped once again.
Now that is going to massively help the people who did not pit in the first safety car, Jack, because well, they probably still had to pit. We do not know for sure, but if they do, now is the time to go to a fresh set of mediums.
Yeah, I mean, this is reshaped it. It's probably come maybe a lap or two too late for some of those drivers who were on the mediums, and they probably would have benefited a bit more from having a later safety car period. It brings us down to 13 drivers in the race left. I have got that question to answer in terms of whether it's going to be Sydney or Bjorn who's going to win the championship. I'm going to say the steps.
Politically safe answer.
Yeah, that's the answer I'm going to be. No, if I'm being honest, I really can't call it between you two, yourself and Sydney. Again, you two have kind of come up with a new rivalry that's Merck is now getting involved in once again, which I'm quite excited to see for next season. Hopefully Merck can do the full season now, because that'll be blockbuster action that for Tier 1. But right now, Ruddo is holding the whole pack together. Berra's trying to push him along to get him to get on with it, but I don't think Ruddo cares. I think he's just trying to go very slow. And look at this, he's playing the games now. Will he dart left? Well, he does. And Berra's in the pits.
Ooh,
Kent's in the pits. Pars carries on. Matty Rudd in the pits. Maras, O'Steve. Wow. Practically everybody, apart from Ruddo, Pars and Nitrogas, Bruce, well, the two McLarens, the top 5, they haven't pitted. Kent, will he get back out in front of the group? He does. And he'll be delighted at that, because Berra has been held up in the pits because of where Mercedes is in the pit lane. So Berra has lost out to Maras and Matty Rudd. So that is a nightmare for the Mercedes driver. Madman's pitted as well, but those two, I noticed that Clips, Madman and Berra, they've got old hard tyres on the car, so they didn't have any fresh tyres left available to them. And then O'Stephen does have a new set of mediums, and so Spud has gone back onto 10 lap old hard, so I think he could probably come into the pits again, Spud, and then go back out on mediums. I think that's probably the only way he's going to get that sorted.
Yeah, what I previously mentioned with Maris and her compound choice, Matty Rudd did not have a fresh set of mediums waiting because he had chosen those harder compound before the race started. But Maris, unbalanced, had an extra fresh set of mediums waiting, which will now be quicker. during the last stint of the race. Also, Barra did not get held up by any traffic. He had to do a front wing change.
Ah, right.
Because we saw him pick up some end plate damage, of course. I'm not sure if that was actually one of the drivers that had invisible damage or not, but that is why the Mercedes is in P9.
Well, that gives us a bit more of an explanation then. But I suppose with Berra having a new front wing, it'll actually give him the opportunity to strike back. But that is a bunch of cars to get through. Nitro Gas will be delighted he's up in the top 3. I mean, it's really nice to see Nitro up there. And that's not to say Nitro isn't typically up there, but this season he has had quite a lot of challenges to try and push himself onto the podium. Don't forget, he did get a podium back at Spain at round 2, but all the other races he's just been all over the place with his race results, partly through no fault of his own in quite a lot of those cases. But tonight, can the luck go his way? Could he get a second podium in the season? I'd love to see that for Nitro. He's a hard grafter, and considering the season he had last time, in season 21, he'd be well deserving of a podium tonight.
Yeah, and what about the 2 McLarens behind him?
Yeah.
In the same situation. It's going to be exciting to see those 3 scrap it out.
Yeah, the McLarens, I mean, it's really ace to see those 2 up there. I think Bruce will probably feel quite confident with Jordan behind him to help protect him, but Kent is on those medium compound tyres, so 7 laps to go. They will last to the end of the race. There won't be an issue there. So Spud has come back into the pits to get soft. Iran has asked, can we ask someone to voluntarily retire from the race so Spud can get his first points of the season? Hey, we might have another safety car. It could all change between now and the end of the race. In fact, Iran's now just said, no, not the softs. So, yeah, maybe not the right decision. We'll have to wait and see. Mikey's also saying, can't wait for the season to end. It's not been a great season for Sauber, to be honest with you. But don't worry, Mikey. There's only another 3 or 4 seasons left on this game because, of course, F1 26 doesn't technically exist. So you'll be keeping on with this for quite a long time.
I think he's going to delete the game after the season.
Well, we've got quite a lot of you watching tonight. It's really great to see all of you who are here. There's quite a lot this evening who are watching live. If you could give us a like on the stream, that would be really great. If you're new to IRL, you've not raced with us before, do subscribe to the channel. It'd be really fantastic if you could. We will see how everybody does with that. But the safety car is in this lap, so we'll be going from lap 19 through to 26. We'll have to wait and see if there's any more safety cars. But this time, Ruddo has control of the safety car queue. He can't accelerate before the safety car line. He can't drive erratically. He has to keep to a relatively standard pace that isn't causing issues around the field. But Pars, can he react to what Ruddo does? Can he get the jump on the Ferrari into turn 1? I imagine, like Kent, Ruddo will try and take this as far as he can to the line before he decides otherwise. Ooh, get ready, Bjorn, because I think we're going to have another blockbuster.
I am ready, I am paying attention, and it will be beneficial to go as late as possible to avoid having the driver behind you get a tow, as the McLaren and Kent are almost wheel to wheel there.
He's gone.
And he's gone.
He's gone, has Ruddo, and that is a dream start for the Ferrari man. He's going to lead comfortably into turn 1. Bruce is in 4th place, but JPH is going to get overtaken by Kent. I think that's going to be an interesting one what the stewards do with that, because you're not supposed to drive alongside somebody under the formation lap, but that's down to them to decide. Matty Rudd with a lovely switchback on the McLaren and moves through into 6th place. Kent already on the back of the McLaren of IRC Bruce. He can sniff a race victory, and down the inside goes the Williams at turn number 3, and that is a move completed for the Williams driver. He's using that grip as much as he can, but he almost locks up into the barriers at turn 4. He's got to be careful. He doesn't want to ruin this opportunity, and it is a golden one at that.
Yeah, well, Steven has had quite a bad restart. He almost spun at the exit of turn 1, hitting that really annoying curb, but he's managed to keep it clean, and he's still driving inside the points.
Mikey is saying he think he might delete the game. Thanks, Bjorn. That's what he said there. But Ruddo leading the way. He's almost got that gap out to over a second again. He's just absolutely flying today. He just seems to be in groove with that Ferrari. But he needs to make the best of it right now, because he will be aware that Kent is on those new medium tyres. And if Kent can get near the party, he won't enjoy it one bit, will Ruddo, because those tyres will give him the opportunity to get past. We shall wait and see. Bruce is in 5th position, but he's got Matty Rudd with him. And now I know for a fact that those two will be in the party chat together, so I don't think Bruce will make this too difficult, but because he won't want to lose any time. And sure enough, that is coordinated between the Ferraris and the McLarens. Matty Rudd moves into 5th position. There's Bruce, JPH. Maras inside the top 8, which is still a good result for her, but she'll want to make some progress. Berra goes late into turn 1. I don't think Berra meant to overtake Maras there, but unfortunately it's compromised her and she's dropped to 10th. Clips Kerry bounces his way through.
Wonder if that's going to be another one for the stewards.
It definitely didn't. Go on.
Yeah, well, I'm also wondering, Kent has now reached the back of Nitro Gas. I wonder if the Aston Martin will actually defend that very hard, because he might be thinking, if I can just follow Kent to the front, I might pick up a place.
Yeah, it's really important. This is a crucial phase of the race, you know. I know how Nitro drives. I think Nitro will be thinking, I want this podium place. I don't care about the other two in front of me. He'll be putting all of his effort into retaining this 3rd place. But I know that Kent is it's kind of the clash of the, and as I say, those points, Nitro runs wide on the exit of the corner, and that is going to give him a time penalty. So now he's probably going to have to work with Kent to pull himself up through the field and pull away from the rest of the group.
Yeah, now he wants to get as far away from everyone else, but just after safety cars come in, that's going to be an even more painful track limit penalty. I'm just trying to see where that will put him as it stands. Should be still majorly in the points, of course.
Should be top 6, shouldn't it, I think?
Yeah, it should be.
Here goes Kent.
6th or 7th, and yeah, easy overtake for Kent there on the main strip. As Nitro Gas will now be looking to follow, as there's some major position change in the back between Berra and the two McLarens. JPH runs wide into turn 1, went too deep on the brakes, and now Bruce will pass him as well.
It was a bit of an odd one. Bruce had slowed down. I wonder if they'd gone 3 wide and Bruce backed out of it, and then JPH braked too late and flew off the road, and now that Bruce is back into 7th, it's all changing in the lower positions, you know, from Berra right the way back to Spud, who's in 13th place. He's hanging on to the back of the tail end of the points as O'Stephen gets sideways on the exit of turn number 4, as we watch a number of drivers all applying the power down. But Ruddo's gone. So now it's a question of whether Kent can get past Pars and go after the driver leading this race at the minute. Nitro's still doing a solid job, but his tyres are older than Matty Rudd's, and I feel that Matty Rudd's got a good shot at 4th place here, providing he keeps it on the road.
Yeah, especially with the time penalty, of course. Kent setting purple sector 1. He is absolutely flying, and he is catching up to Pars, but he'll be looking at P1 more than P2, I think, and it's going to be DRS here for Kent on the main straight, and it won't be DRS for Pars, so it should be relatively easy overtake to go into 2nd place on the main straight.
Yeah, he's pushing his Kent. He's really pushing that Williams to its absolute limits. Hello to you, Tristan. I'm glad you're finding the race to be good fun. It's good to have you back. So I'd really like to see you again soon, Tristan, racing in our league. It's been quite some time. Be good to have you back in, but Kent is not close enough, and both of these two, a similar situation with the batteries. So I'm going to have to get creative with their ERS management. But you can see, though, despite the fact that he hasn't got the same overspeed of the battery, he does have the grip, Kent. And this is a big chance. If he wants to go through, you'd want to do it about now. And there we go. The Williams into 2nd. He's doing a Carlos Sainz. It's Kent Sainz.
Yeah, now 2.5 seconds is the target, with 5 laps to go.
I mean, if he's kept his tyres in check, that is a doable gap for the Williams. We haven't seen Kent win a race for a couple of seasons now. It'd be really, really good to see him at the front of the field. But Ruddo is as we've seen all the way through this race, a very good driver. And as we've seen, the former champion, he knows how to win races around this circuit and in this league. So watch this space. But Kent already almost a second clear. And that's with the fact that he's got a broken front wing end plate. He is flying.
Yeah, but he's got to watch the track limit. I believe he just picked up his second warning. One more and it's going to be a free second his way. But he is flying. He's almost within one lap, gone from 2.5 to 1 second. But I reckon those tires will also start to fall off anytime soon. Because those mediums do not last very long for a good amount of pace. And especially with the way he is just pushing the car to its absolute limits. I wonder if Rudder will be quicker in the last few laps.
He could be. I'm just watching his. It did Pars. Yeah, Pars did get back into DRS. So Pars is going to get dragged along by the Williams here, which I think he'll be pleased about. Matty Rudd is going to go past. Nitrogash's contact down the main straight. That was a little bit clumsy, and then there was a bit more contact. Oh, and Nitro's hit the wall. I don't think he's going to be impressed with that. Berra down the inside of Nitro into turn 2. I think Nitro will have something to say about that later on. O'Stephen is in 10th place, but we've got Maras in the pits. So not sure if Maras has had more damage, but is out there. And it's put Sir Spud into 12th place. Keep it on the road.
Oh my god. Grab the camera, make a screenshot, Iron especially.
Spud's biggest fan is going to be dancing around in his house or wherever he is right now in the world. So Spud is currently on track to get a point, but Maras does have fresh tyres. It's not over yet. Fingers crossed for the Alpine team. Just watching, he hasn't really closed that gap down as much as I thought he had. The other thing I noticed is that Ruddo pulled away down the straight, so Ruddo clearly managing his battery really, really nicely. His teammate running in 4th place. Berra is also on a charge, trying to get up to the top 4. I mean, if you look at Berra, he's only 6.7 seconds behind the race leader. He's done a good job to come back after pitting again. Then it's Nitro, then it's JPH. He's on for a season best result as it stands in the McLaren. Then it's Bruce, then it's Clips Kerry, and then it's O'Stephen, Madman and Sir Spud. Rounding out the point scorers, I think Spud's got damage.
Yeah, I was just going to say that as far as comes to the main straight, yeah, the mediums will have fallen off by now. I think that will be the chance of a victory gone for Kent. Sir Spud did just clip the castle section, the exit of castle section, but I feel at this pace he is gonna stay ahead of Maris, I feel like, but I wonder if his tires will survive.
Kent's made a mistake and he's no longer within the wall marks of Ruddo, but he is on Pars, and Pars got it wrong on the exit of turn 4, and the Williams re-overtakes the Red Bull for 2nd place. So these two now scrapping over position. This is an important position, this, for Kent, because if he can beat Pars, the championship fight will go down to 7 points if it finishes as it stands. So this is big for Kent. He really has to push hard to keep that Red Bull behind him, but we know Pars, with 3 laps to go, that tyre advantage, as Bjorn mentioned, is going to start swinging towards the Red Bull's favour. But anything can happen in Baku. It usually does. It's too late for another safety car now. We are on lap 24. It is not going to come out no matter what happens. So it'll all be down to whether the drivers can keep it on the black stuff in these remaining 3 laps. Well, 2 laps after the one that we're on.
Yeah, now I'm wondering, Kent does have a little bit of front wing damage, I believe. Yeah, he's missing that end plate. He has been for a while. Now, I believe it was before the safety car, so I wonder, because look at the pace difference between both of them. They were both charging their battery, I can say that, but Pars had the DRS and it was still massive time gain. So I wonder if Kent sacrificed some straight line speed in and saving a front wing change by just upping the front wing during the pit stop, because you can't do that under park firm regulations.
Yeah, it is something that you can do. It's a really good point, actually. But Kent's still in front, which is the the place you want to be right now, but if you're thinking tactically, you've got to start thinking about how you want to approach this final lap. And I know that Pars is doing just that. So Spud and the gap between Maras, 5 seconds. I'll leave that down to you guys who are watching whether he's going to get the point or not. I'm going to cut away from it and I'm not going to look at it again until we get onto the main straight. Clips Curry got past JPH in the meantime, so Jordan drops down to 8th place. Still going to get some good points, which he'll be happy about. It's been a challenging season for him. I know that he's been talking about starting to get on top of this game now, but he's slowly but surely making those improvements, which is what it's all about. But I've got to say, Kent, he seems so strong. He's almost trying to make sure that Pars can't get to him before we get to the main straight. But look at this. Look at the gap. It's 7 tenths. It's 6.5 tenths. It's just up to 8 at the minute. We're going to watch this as Ruddo is going to click onto the final lap of the race. It's been absolutely barnstorming.
It's pretty close here.
He's really closing the gap. He's going to go for this. He's going to be down the inside. Kent to the outside line as they approach turn 1. Both of them on the brakes into the corner. Kent keeps a tighter line to stop Pars from sliding up the inside. So that's round 1. There's still 2 rounds to go. A bit of a weird snap mid-corner in the braking zone for Kent. And a little bit of traction lost from the Red Bull. Round 2 as we go towards the 3rd corner of the race circuit. He's going to look to the inside Pars, but he's not quite close enough, so it will all come down to the exit of turn number 17. Sydney has just made that comment, speaking from experience, not to make a mistake. And JPH, into the wall goes JPH as he overtakes Clips Kerry, but he's still maintaining the position. Clips to try and go around the outside. They make wheel-to-wheel contact, and Clips is going to get in front, I think. As they go into 5 and 6, Jordan's going to have to be brave to roll this around the outside. He does, and he maintains the place. So, good racecraft from the two.
That was a fantastic move by Jordan. On the outside of the chicane, I don't think Clips Curry saw that coming. It's going to be another fight on the last main straight for P7.
That's going to be a fight for the... And Matty Rudd's there. We haven't seen this. Matty Rudd has just appeared... kind of like a phantom from nowhere, is right there in this fight. So Kent's going to have to be doubly careful now as we go on to the final corner, the final braking zone here. Ruddo, take a bow, sunshine. It's a victory for you this season. What a result he's got here. But Kent, Pars and Matty Rudd are all fighting over this final podium position. Matty Rudd's closing that gap, but I don't think he's quite close enough. I think Kent's going to hold on. It's Ruddo who wins. Kent is going to hold on just about. He takes 2nd from Pars. Matty Rudd ends up 4th by 2 tenths of a second. Berra is 5th. Nitrogash will stay where he is in 6th place. JPH with Clips Kerry. It's going to be close to the line, but Jordan beats Clips to the line. Bruce is 9th. Oh, Stephen, it's going to be a photo finish between him and Madman, but Madman gets there. And Maras got Spud in the end for the final point.
And he enters the pits.
Oh.
He's done. He wants to go home. He doesn't want to speak to their press. He doesn't want to do the in-lap.
He's doing a Heinz Harald Frentzen from 1996 Monaco is what he's doing there. He's had enough. He pulls into the pit, but it's a race victory for Ruddo. And that's big for the championship for him and for Kent, because they've both outscored Pars this evening. And that's going to give Ruddo a 5-point swing back to him. So Ruddo's going to be 10 points behind Pars going into the final 2 races of the season. Kent is only going to be 7 back. We've got a championship fight on our hands.
Yeah, it's terribly close. 10 points. It's definitely doable. Especially with the sprint in Monza next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a moment. So race winner and fastest lap going the way of Ruddo. Driver of the day, most overtakes and cleanest driver going the way of JPH in the McLaren. Let's look at these provisional results. It is Ruddo, Kent and Pars inside the top 3. Matty Rudd finishing 4th. Berra, the other championship protagonist, losing out tonight, unfortunately, thanks to that safety car. He will end up in 5th. Nitro 6th. JPH, Clips Curry, Bruce, Madman, O'Stephen and Maras in the points. So Spud, so close to his first point scorer of the season. Ginger, Keza, Mikey and Matty all retiring from the race for various incidents and reasons.
Ooh, what a race, wasn't it?
Oh, it was fab. It was really fantastic. And, you know, Ruddo has asked questions of Pars tonight, as has Kent. And Kent's strategy, you know, he was in 4th place behind Berra, behind Pars, behind Ruddo, and that strategy call to stay out has paid dividends for him, and it's brought him right into the fight. And he'll love the fact that he's only 7 points behind with a sprint race at Monza to go, because Kent is he's a good driver for winding people up in championship fights. He's got a good way of the words.
Yeah, definitely. Monza and Singapore, Singapore it is. 2 fantastic tracks, two of my personal favorites. So I cannot wait. And the championship, I almost want to bet a lot of money on it that something is gonna change, and it's not gonna be something small.
Yeah, it's going to go to the wire, I feel. I think with the way that the championship is set up, we're going to have what is looking like a 3-way showdown. Berra is not out of this yet. I am going to make that point because it is important. He went into this race, off the top of my head, just thinking, he went into this race not too far away. I think he was 15 points behind. He's going to come out of this, in my estimations, about 19 behind. With the sprint, he can still get back into it. So don't rule out Berra. I think we've got a 4-way championship fight with 2 rounds to go. But before we finish up, Bjorn, favourite moment of the race for you?
Ooh.
And if you could as well, drive your driver of the day. Because we haven't got ARL with us, I will let you decide our driver of the day tonight.
I can't wait until you pick something. Favorite moment, I'm gonna have to say the second safety car. It changed a lot of things. And my driver of the day. Ooh, my driver of the day is gonna be Matty Rudd.
Yeah.
I think he did a phenomenal job.
So close to a podium as well.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize that he was so close. I hadn't looked at it at all. I believe you could hear my surprise when you said that. So,
yeah, like a ghost just appearing in front of everybody. But he's it would have been his first podium of the season, but still it's his best result, 4th place. You know, it's something to build on for these final 2 races. Sydney saying, your personal favourite? I'm cooked in tier 1.
Well, Sydney, I don't think you have to worry about anything. It was over before it even started, mate. So.
Well, thank you to everyone who's been watching tonight. We had at least 20. I think I saw, if it popped up right on my radar at one point, 25 people watching in one go, which is fantastic to see it live. So many people watching, and the likes on the stream and the shares have gone around as well. So that's been really appreciated to those who have watched for this evening. And I'm really excited for the remaining 2 rounds of the championship. It is going to be a blockbuster in both tier 1 and tier 2. Speaking of which, the drivers will be competing in that penultimate race of the season at Monza around the Temple of Speed next Monday and Tuesday. But from Bjorn, it's good night.
Good night, everyone. Tune in next week.
And it's good night from me, Jack TM53. Wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good one. And we'll see you next Monday for round 7 at Monza.